This is the pancake house that they had here. And so basically this was all rebuilt. The interesting part's in 1960, someone built a brand new trading post on the same spot. And this is where they called it Fort Courage, just like the old TV show F Troop. It's pretty much kind of a knockoff, but hey, it works. And it was designed to look like the fort on the show, which is kind of cool. New place had everything from a coffee shop to a restaurant, gas station, grocery store, and a gift shop. And of course the trading post. They sold all kinds of things, Native American stuff like jewelry, rugs, souvenirs. They even had motel rooms, a place for trailers, and a campground. And you can see a lot of the remains here of a lot of the stuff. But like a lot of things, it didn't last. Unfortunately, by 2010, the motel rooms had been turned into apartments and there were old cars parked everywhere. And then by 2014, the whole place was just closed down for good. So now it's just kind of just an abandoned traction on Route 66. Kind of sad, but it's also a piece of history. Kind of just faded away, but you know, it's still here for us to look at. I mean, here you can kind of, through the broken glass, see a little bit of, I don't know, I figure this had to be part of the trading post or something in there. Not quite sure what, but I don't know, just kind of exploring on the outside. I never go into buildings or anything like that, but just looking around, and it's really unique in what you find out here. I mean, that, you know, Route 66, part of the abandoned and forgotten places on Route 66 are some of the beauty of it too. I mean, where else are you going to find a life-size fort? It might be bigger than life-size. I mean, we're going to walk up here and I want to show you the fort part, which is, I think, the coolest part. They did have a fire that burned down a fair amount of it, one of the other towers, but they were able to save one of them. And F Troop was actually what it was based off of. That was a show that was 1965 to 1967. This is the neatest part of it. Now, there's one of the buildings that burned down during the fire they had. It had some arson a while back. But there is one tower remaining. Some of the fencing's fallen down. But there's a charm to it. It's just kind of a feeling. You're walking around. It's kind of like you're walking into the past a little bit. This is some of the stuff that's like Americana. I mean, where else are you going to be able to check out an abandoned fort? And just sit out front and take a look at it. I mean, that thing's huge. I don't know how tall it is, but that thing's at least 40 foot tall. And this is some of the stuff that's on Route 66. There were all these attractions, roadside attractions, the people. That's part of the charm of this whole place. And I just really enjoy going up and down. I own a store in Seligman, like I said, over there on Route 66. But I just love discovering all these other places to see. I mean, this thing is huge. Look at that tree. I mean, there's the doorway. The doorway's got to be 6.5 feet tall. And look how tall this building is when you compare it. It's huge. I mean, could you imagine yourself as a kid going to the top of that, looking out over everything? I mean, you'd feel like you're in a Wild West movie. And that's what I love about US Highway 66 or Route 66. There's beauty in what's available. There's tons of roadside attractions, a lot of stuff to see, but there's also some of the abandoned parts, and you need to get out there and see them. They may not be around forever. I mean, you can see this fence was up about a year ago or two. It was fine. Now it's down, unfortunately, but it's also America. It's really kind of what American travel is all about. But just west of town is where I spent most of my time, at a place that might be the beating heart of the stretch of Route 66, the Highway Cafe. You know it when you see it. A big red and blue neon sign reaches up over the highway, standing proud like it's been there since the golden days of road travel. And right out front, there's a full-size muffler man named Big Bill. He's holding a Route 66 plate and keeping watch like the guardian of the cafe. building itself is covered in murals, from classic cars to pickup trucks to Route 66 signs as big as life. One of them's even got an old Dodge truck painted right on the side of the wall, headlights full of charm, and a license plate that reads Highway Cafe. It don't get much better than that. Parked outside is a weathered Rambler covered in traveling stickers like it's been collecting stories from every state. It doesn't move, but it still travels right into your memory. Every corner of this place tells a piece of the highway story. Inside, it's comfortable food done right: chicken fried steak, burgers, pie, all the things that make you feel at home, even when you're 100 miles from it. The folks here take pride in what they serve, and they treat strangers like regular. Now, right next door is something you don't expect, but you're sure glad it's there. The Western Motel still welcomes travelers just like it did decades ago, and standing out front, taller than the building itself, is a statue of a Native American chief with his hand raised in welcome. It's a bold, respectful, and unforgettable. Like a lot of Route 66, it might catch you off guard, but it won't leave your mind anytime soon. West of Veneta, the road settles into Chelsea, Oklahoma. A quiet town that still holds tight to a piece of the mother road. It may not scream for attention, but it speaks to those who will listen. Right off the highway, you'll find a bright mural painted across the side of a building, a tribute in color to what makes Chelsea matter. It shows the Pryor Creek Bridge, the old BS Stop Cafe, the underpass, and the Route 66 shield, all laid across the paint like a hometown postcard. A red GMC dump truck parked beside it like it never left. Just another piece of the past still hanging on. Then there's the Pryor Creek Bridge, built in 1926, the very year Route 66 was born. It's a narrow steel truss, rough around the edges and wrapped in trees now, but it's still holding on. It only carried highway traffic for a few years, but it's a living piece of the early road. And if you walk across it slow, you can almost hear the wheels that came before you. The Chelsea Motel is another stop that has seen better days. And I've got the footage to show it. Built in the 1930s, it had 6 rooms and a glowing neon sign once upon a time. These days it's closed up tight, windows dark, the lot overgrown, but the bones are still there. The old sign out front marking its spot. The kind of place where a tired traveler might have dropped their keys on the nightstand, pulled the curtain shut, and fell asleep to the sound of the distant trucks on the highway. And just a short drive from Chelsea, close enough to count, is something that don't fit into the neat category: Ed Galloway's Totem Pole Park. The centerpiece is a 90-foot tall concrete totem pole, hand-built and hand-painted and covered in bold colors and carved faces. Galloway made it as a tribute to the Native American culture, and it didn't stop there. There are other totems scattered around the grounds and picnic tables carved into sculptures that make the whole place feel like something out of a dream. It may not be the busiest stop on Route 66, but it's one folks remember, and the kind of place where you just really can't explain until you've actually seen it for yourself. Chelsea's not flashy, but it's got a bridge that tells the truth, a motel that remembers what it was, and a park full of one man's passion built in concrete and color. And on Route 66, that's the kind of stop worth making. Out in Catoosa, Oklahoma, right off of Route 66, there's a giant blue whale sitting in a spring-fed pond, and it's smiling like it's glad you came. This isn't just a roadside stop, it's a love story. Back in the early 70s, Hugh Davis, a former zoo worker, wanted to build something special for his wife Zelda. She collected little whale figurines. So Hugh went big. With the help of a friend, he welded a steel frame and poured concrete by hand, one bucket at a time. It took over 2 years. And in 1972, he gave her the blue whale of Catoosa for their anniversary gift. Word got out and travelers started pulling in, so Hugh and Zelda opened the place up. They called it Nature's Acres, a roadside picnic spot where kids swam and slid off the tail and laughed under the sun. Nearby, Hugh built a wooden ark, and across the road, the Arrowwood Trading Post sold native jewelry and crafts run by Hugh's brother-in-law, Chief Wolf Robe Hunt. Now, years later, we're still stopping by, and if you've never been inside the whale, come on, let's go. You walk across the entrance, step through a big open mouth, and you're in the belly of the beast. The floor is smooth concrete, lit by the round portals on each side, and you'll see a little slide that back in the days kids slid down to get into the water. You can still see the old steel bones in the walls. Walk a little further and you'll find a ladder. You're in the head looking around, and a little further on, what do we see but the tail out in the open deck? Just amazing. It's a part sculpture, part playground, and full of good memories. And by the late 80s, health issues shut things down. Hugh passed in the 90s, and Zelda a few years later. And for a while, the whale faded. But then the locals stepped in, volunteers repainted it, cleaned it up, and brought it back to life. A gift shop opened right on the site. In 2020, the city of Catoosa bought the land and started making improvements for future visitors. Not far down the road, you'll also find the old twin bridges, one built in 1936 and the other in 1957. They once carried Route 66 traffic across the Virgus River. But it's the blue whale that's bringing the people in. It wasn't built for money. It wasn't built for fame. It was built for love. And it's still doing what we made it to do, making people smile on the Mother Road. Rolling into Chandler, Oklahoma, you don't have to look far to find what sets this place apart. Just off the highway sits the Route 66 bowl, and right out in front is a collection of vintage gas and oil signs that'll make any road tripper pull over. Phillips 66, Derby, Sinclair, Shamrock, Lion. These signs aren't rusted relics leaning in the weeds. They're clean, tall, and proudly displayed like roadside trophies, standing against the Oklahoma sky with the stories baked into their enamel. It's like walking through an outdoor museum. No velvet ropes, no tour guide. Just you, your camera, and the remainder of a golden days when gas was cheap and road maps were made of paper, and stations like these kept the country moving. Arcadia, Oklahoma, one of those quiet little towns where Route 66 still feels like home. The big draw here is the round barn, built back in 1898, perfectly round, made from native bur oak and still standing proud after all these years. And just down the road is Pop 66, a modern stop with a throwback soul, part diner, part soda shop, and lit up like a neon dream at night. Out front stands a 66-foot tall glowing soda bottle, changing colors and lighting up the Oklahoma sky. If you're driving through after dark, it's the kind of place that makes you slow down just to watch it shine. Lucille's legacy in a junkyard full of road relics. Hydro, Oklahoma. It may be a quiet little town these days, but Route 66 runs like it through a vein of history. And right off the old highway sits one of the most iconic landmarks, Lucille's historic highway gas station, also known as the Provine Service Station. Built in 1929, it's a two-story station with living quarters right above. Designed built for practicality and pride. You lived where you worked, and you looked after folks coming through. In 1941, Lucy Hammonds took over, and she ran that station for nearly 60 years. Folks called her the mother of the Mother Road, and not just because she pumped gas. She ran it like a little roadside cafe, serving sandwiches, candy, cold pop, and some of the friendliest service on the highway. They say she had the coldest drinks in the whole state, and I believe it. It wasn't fancy, but it didn't need to be. Lucille's made sure you left with a full tank, a little food in your belly, and a feeling that someone cared. Even after the interstate pulled the traffic away, she kept that place open. That kind of heart is what made Route 66 what it was. Today, the station doesn't sell fuel anymore, but it's been restored and preserved. Vintage pumps out front, historical marker by the door, and a quiet kind of pride that stands strong in the Oklahoma wind. Now, just a few miles across the freeway, there's another kind of treasure, Rustbusters Recycling. This isn't just a junkyard. This is a field full of road relics. It's big, real big. Rows of old trucks, coupes, wagons, sedans spread out across the land, and each one with its own story to tell. You'll find everything from faded chrome to cracked windshields, and if you stop and look closely, you'll see the years written all over them. These cars and trucks are the history of the Mother Road. Every one of them traveled somewhere, carried someone, meant something, from farm trucks that hauled hay to old sedans that might have taken a family west. These machines once moved with purpose, now they rest, but they're still speaking, if you're willing to listen. I love this kind of place. I always have. These aren't just parts, they're the living past of US Highway 66. Some are stripped down to the frame, others still have license plates and worn tires. It's like stepping into a gallery where every piece is rough around the edges, but full of life. Hydro may not be a major stop on the map, but between Lucille's legendary cafe-style station and this incredible stretch of the classic iron, it holds the kind of soul that built the Mother Road. And if you're traveling Route 66 to find the past, this is one place that you don't want to miss. Clinton, Oklahoma, memories preserved and memories fading. Rolling into Clinton, Oklahoma, you'll find one of the best places on the Mother Road to step back in time, the Oklahoma Route 66 Museum. It's not just displays and signs. This place is an experience. A walk through every decade of the Mother Road, from the dust of the 1930s to the chrome of the 50s. The museum takes you through it all. Classic cars, diner booths, gas pumps, and even the sound of the road follows you from room to room. It's the kind of stop that helps you feel what the journey used to be, not just see it. And same as it did back when the stations and motels lined this highway from end to end. But not everything in Clinton made it to the museum. Just drive down the road, the old Glancy Motor Hotel, a mid-century classic that used to welcome drivers with its bold roof line and glowing sign. I was lucky enough to catch it on camera before it was torn down. Today, all that was left is the sign, still standing, a little faded, a little lonely and missing a letter, but still hanging on. I like to show you both, what we're preserved and what we've lost, because that's what Route 66 is. It's the road we're on and one that already passed us by. Elk City, Oklahoma, a museum built for the Mother Road. Elk City. Now this one's got a museum that feels like it's a whole town in itself. Right off Route 66 is the National Route 66 Museum. And it's not just a building with a few signs. It's a full-on complex with everything from classic cars and travel trailers to a recreated stretch of the old road dressed up by the way it used to be. They've even got a 1950s style Main Street and an old schoolhouse and more than a few four-wheeled legends polished up and sitting proud. There's even a tribute to the folks who kept this country rolling, cowboys, truckers, and travelers with maps in the glove box and big dreams on the dash. Now, I didn't catch a ton of footage here, just enough to give you a feel for it, but even in a short visit, you'll get a sense of the histories behind the glass. It's not just about the highway, it's about the people who lived it. Elk City's museum shows you why this road still matters. It's not just looking back. It's about remembering how far we've come. Howdy folks, Big Mike here again, and today we're cruising through Erick, Oklahoma, right near the western edge of the state. Now this little town may not take up much space on the map, but it's packed with more personality and Mother Road magic than just about anywhere else. Soon as you roll in from the east, you'll met with a sight that'll make you ease off the gas. The Windmill Garden. Dozens of windmills turning in the breeze with rusted old cars and trucks scattered around like roadside relics left behind by time. It's a strange, beautiful, and kind of welcomes you only a place like Erick can deliver. But if you really want to feel the soul of Erick, you've got to go to the Sand Hills Curiosity Shop. This isn't your typical souvenir stand. It's a one-of-a-kind collection of Route 66 treasures piled into the town's oldest brick building. The outside's covered in vintage signs, oddball decor, and inside, well, that's Harley Russell's domain. If he's around, you might get a guitar tune, a story, or a wild performance as part of the lesson, part comedy show. Now let's talk music. Roger Miller, the man who gave us the King of the Road, was born right here in Erick. The Roger Miller Museum may be closed now, but Erick keeps his memory alive with a vibrant mural downtown that captures his spirit perfectly. Larger than life, just like his music. And just outside of town, there's a place called Sam's Town, a folk art installation by photographer Samuel Hagen. It's filled with pieces of western Oklahoma's past, tools, signs, relics, laid out like a little outdoors gallery. It's quiet, thoughtful, and a good spot to stretch your legs and take it all in. And then there's the Wigwam Motel, built in 1948. It's no longer open for business, but the structure still stands with the roof, stucco walls, and the garage bays, and even an old sedan outside. Texola, the last stop in Oklahoma. Today we're rolling through Texola, Oklahoma, the last town before you cross into Texas on old Route 66. Not much moves out here these days, but if you listen close, this little town still has a story to tell. Right as you pull in, you'll spot one of Texola's most recognizable landmarks, the Magnolia Service Station, built in 1930. It's weathered and worn, but still standing proud. It's a little rough around the edges these days, sure, but that just adds to its charm. You can see the bones of what it once was, a dependable stop on the Mother Road, where travelers topped off the tank and maybe swapped a few stories while the wind rolled through the prairie. Just down the way is the one-room jail, built in 1910. It's about as small as a jail gets, just a brick cell with bars on the windows and doors. These days it's quiet, but it's still holding tight to its piece in the town's history. A little further up the road, you'll pass the Tumbleweed Grill and Waterhole. I didn't go inside, but the place still stands, Park Cafe, Park Country Store, and all Route 66. It's a good reminder that even in a quiet town, the spirit of the highway keeps hanging on. Texola is full of abandoned buildings, each one whispering its own piece of the past. Building with the town's unofficial motto painted across the wall, "There is no place like Texola." You can feel that truth in every board and brick. If you look close, you'll see that parts of the original 1930s Route 66 alignment, cracked pavement with a history all its own. Texola has a complicated story from the start. It's been surveyed 8 different times. Folks say sometimes they lived in Oklahoma and the next day in Texas, and they never had to move. It started growing back in 1901, and by 1930s it had hotels, cotton gin stores, an auditorium, and a whole lot of hope. But between the Dust Bowl, the Depression, and the revival of Interstate 40 and the traffic, and the people started moving on. These days it's quiet, but not forgotten. You drive through Texola and it's like stepping back into the last pages of a chapter. What's left might be lean, but it's strong. Folks are still trying to preserve what they can, and every cracked sign and crooked fence still carries the heart of the town. Texola might be the final stop on Oklahoma's stretch of Route 66, but it's also one of the most unforgettable, a place where the past hangs in the air and the road just keeps on going. Gascoark, Missouri. Just west of Waynesville, tucked away in a quiet stretch of old Route 66, sits a crumbling stone building that once housed the original Gascoark Cafe. Time has worn it down, the roof's gone in places, and the weeds creep across the door. But the bones of the past are still there. This was once a bustling stop for travelers making the long haul across Missouri. A place to grab a meal, swap a story, and gas up before the next leg of the road. And right across the street, you'll see another slice of Route 66 history. The Gascoark store, established in 1954. Today it operates as a flea market on select weekends, filled with antiques and collectibles, and maybe a few old road stories, if you can catch it open. There's no guarantee the door will be unlocked when you drive by, but it's worth a look. Just the sign out front with that Coca-Cola logo takes you back. And this part of the Mother Road doesn't have crowds or tour buses, just silence and sunlight, and the soft rustle of trees that have been here longer than most travelers. And a little further up the way, you'll spot the old Gasconade River Bridge, long closed to traffic but still standing proud. It's one of those places where you don't need a tour guide or a map, just moments to take it all in. If you're the kind of traveler who chases stories hidden in the cracks of the pavement, Gascoark delivers. We're starting this ride a little off the usual path, right in the quiet heart of Missouri. Not because it's where the road begins, but because it's where the story feels right. Now, just before you roll into Joplin, Missouri, there's a place that catches your eye, Spencer's Car Co., sitting right off of Route 66. At first glance, you might pass it by, but look a little closer and you'll find it's a real find. The kind of place that makes you glad you slowed down. Old fire trucks with sun-baked paint, classic cars and trucks with real patina. The kind that tell a story just by standing still. And then there's the one that stops you in your tracks. A futuristic car that looks like it came out of a comic book. Turns out, kinda did. That machine starred in Free Jack, a wild sci-fi flick from 1992. Mick Jagger played the villain. If If you can believe that, the movie's long forgotten, but the car's still here and sitting just a few feet from the fence. I got to take a walk through the place, and what I found wasn't just rust and relics, but a little bit of everything that makes Route 66 special. The owner came out to say hello, real friendly guy, proud of what he's got. He shared a few stories and pointed out some of his favorites. He's not trying to sell you a legend, just happy to show folks around who appreciate old steel. It's not a showpiece, it's the real deal. A working yard still holding on to pieces of the past and taking care of them right. You never know what you'll find just off the highway, but this spot, it's worth slowing down for. And once you roll into downtown Joplin, Route 66 shows its proud side. The Route 66 mural park is bright and bold and right on the corner where the old road ran through. Two massive murals celebrate the journey. One shows a classic road scene and the other a big red Corvette busting out of the wall. It's like it's got somewhere to be. Folks come from all over to snap a photo. But it's more than just a backdrop. It's a reminder that Joplin remembers where it came from and that the road, even now, still runs through it. And just a few blocks away, you'll spot the big, bold Jobo sign. Welcome you to downtown Joplin. It's bright, loud, and proud, just like the stretch of Route 66 that runs through here. It might not be famous everywhere, but it sure makes an impression. Carthage, Missouri. Carthage doesn't shout. It doesn't have to. You feel it the moment you roll in, like a town that remembers the best parts of its past and still puts them to good use. First stop, the Boots Court Motel. White stucco, black trim, red awnings, and a neon that still hums when the sun goes down. It's been standing proud since 1930s, back when radio in every room was a real selling point. They restored it room by room, not into some new, but into exactly what it was, a true motor court classic brought back to life. Not a museum, a place you can still stay in. That's the magic of this stretch of Route 66. And just outside of town, you'll find the 66 Drive-In Theater. Still open, still showing movies under the stars, that big screen rising up over the fields. It's a slice of America you thought might be gone. But here it is, not just remembered, it's running. People still bring their kids, grab popcorn and make a night of it. A little dust on the lot and a whole lot of charm. And there's one more piece of the old road you might miss if you're not looking for it. A wooden bridge, part of the original 66 alignment. Weathered and worn, but still hanging on. It's not fancy, just real, like a handshake from the past. If you've got a little time, take the detour to Red Oaks 2, restored ghost town built by artist Lowell Davis. He moved the buildings here himself one by one. It's like stepping into a dream made of memory and Missouri soil. Vintage cars, old barns, and even a church with its bells still ready to ring. A quiet place that somehow speaks volume. Carthage may not be the loudest town on the route, but it's one that lingers with you long after you've passed through. It's the kind of place that proves Route 66 isn't just a road, it's a living story, and this town, it still has plenty to say. Villa, Missouri. A villa is the kind of place that makes you ease off the gas without even thinking about it. There's not much here anymore, just a handful of old buildings hanging on weathered wood and stone telling stories in silence. One of them's covered in ivory, worn by time, but still standing proud. It's the kind of spot that makes you wonder who walked through that doorway and how long ago. Then there's Lottie's Soda Shop, painted up like a pastel postcard from the past. Big Route 66 shield on the side, picnic tables out front, and the kind of place you hoped still open when you roll through. It's got heart and a splash of color where you least expect it. A villa might not be on many itineraries, but if you're the kind of traveler who loves the quiet corners, this stretch of the Mother Road still has something to show you. Before you even see the station, the road tells you something's coming. You dip through the trees, cross a narrow bridge where the water runs low and quiet, and for a moment it feels like the modern world's 100 miles behind you. This is Paris Springs, Missouri. It's not a big town, never was, but up ahead there's a little piece of Route 66 that's been brought back to life, and not just for photos, but for the feeling. Right on the shoulder of the old highway sits the Gay Parita Sinclair Station. a faithful recreation of a 1930s-style gas station brought back to life by a man named Gary Turner. Gary didn't build this place for profit. He built it for the road. The name Gay Parita goes back even further, to Fred and Gay Mason, who originally built a Sinclair station here in the 1930s. The first station burned down in 1955, but the original stone garage survived, holding quietly through the decades. In 2003, Gary Turner bought the property, and with the help from his family, he rebuilt it, opening the replica station to travelers in 2007. But this was never just a gas station. It was Gary's gift to the road. He'd wave folks in, hand out free postcards, and tell stories like they were old friends. And the people came from all over the country, even around the world, and not just to take a picture, but to feel something. After Gary passed, his daughter and son-in-law stepped in to carry it on, and the place hasn't lost a step. The green Sinclair dinosaur still stands out front. Old pumps shine like they just got wiped down. Vintage cars rest under the open sky. And inside the garage, it feels like a time capsule still ticking. Oil cans, signs, and just enough dust to remind you that it's the real deal. Yes, it's a business, but it's also a tribute to Gary, to Gay, and to everyone who traveled, who's ever found something special off the side of the highway. The Gay Parita Sinclair station isn't big, and Paris Springs barely shows up on most maps. But out here, it's not about how big something is. It's about how much heart it holds. And this little station, it's got miles of it. Out here on Route 66, some towns feel like a crossroads, a place where the past and the present shake hands. In Springfield, Missouri, that's one of them. This is where it all started. Back in 1926, the name Route 66 was born right here. Folks stood on the Colonial Hotel downtown and put pen to paper, not knowing that they were naming a road that would change America forever. Today, that same spirit still runs through town. You just have to know where to look. And just down the road sits a piece of Route 66 history that's been lovingly brought back to life. The Rockwood Motor Court. First opened in 1929, this little motor court was once a favorite for folks making their way across this country. It's been fully restored now, glowing again like it did nearly 100 years ago. Red brick walls, green neon, and a sense of welcome that you can feel before you even park. But not every place made it through the decades. The old Shamrock Court sign still stands, faded, flaking, and full of soul, but it doesn't shout anymore, but it still speaks. Now, if you're the kind of traveler who likes to wander off the main road a little, you'll find a real surprise tucked away just down the street in a place called Junker Joe's Recycling. You might think it's just a scrapyard at first glance, but don't let that fool you. Behind the fencing and piles of steel is one of the most personal little Route 66 museums you'll ever see. Joe's collected the kind of stuff most folks walk right past. Old gas pumps, license plates, faded signs, and tools that probably haven't been made in over 50 years. He's even got a Tow Mater style truck sitting out front, all rust and charm, looking like it just rolled off the Pixar's movie set. But more than the artifacts, it's the feel of the place. Joe didn't build it for tourists, he built it because he loves this road. And if you get the chance to talk to him, you'll hear stories you won't find in any guidebook. It's honest, it's unexpected, and it's one of those stops that makes you feel like you found something real. Springfield isn't just about looking back, it's about the blend. There's the Hubcap 66 sculpture, a modern tribute to the cars that once ruled this highway. Chrome on metal artwork shaped like a Route 66 shield standing proud for all to see. And the murals scattered along the roads, bold, colorful, telling stories in paint, each one like a postcard from the past but sent from the present. You also find a quiet little park just off the main drag where the old school hamburger sign still watches over the grass like it's keeping an eye on things. It's not flashy, but it's real. That hamburger sign is quite the little story. Actually, it was too tall when they ordered it, and they had to cut off the ER from the bottom of it. And that's what Springfield is. It's a mix of survivors, rebuilders, and memory keepers. It's where Route 66 got its name, and where it still earns its place. So if you're rolling through, take your time, wave at the muffler man, snap a photo by the neon, tip your hat to Junker Joe, and remember, this isn't just another city. This is where the Mother Road began. Right off Old Route 66 in Lebanon, Missouri, stands a building with a big sign that reads Rinks Market. Quiet for now, but full of stories. It wasn't always just a market, it was a cafe known for good barbecue and even better pies. Folks come here for a hot plate, a cold drink, and a place to slow down and visit a while. It's closed today, or the last time I dropped by last year, but hopefully it comes back with new folks or maybe a new name. Whatever it becomes, we sure hope it finds a new life. Because places that are like this are part of the road, and the road's better when they are lit up again. Out front, there's an old truck sitting like it's on duty, rusted, rugged, and full of character. Even now, the building feels like it's waiting for the next traveler to pull in. And just down the road, that classic Munger Moss Motel sign rises like a beacon, bold red and white, lit up with neon and maybe a memory that refuses to fade. This isn't just for show, it's a piece of the Mother Road soul. So if you see her from a ways off, and when you do, you know you're still on Route 66. Right here in Cuba, Missouri, the Wigwam Motel still stands tall, a true Route 66 classic. Built back in the 1930s, it's the oldest continually operating motel on the Mother Road. But it isn't just any motel. It's a collection of stone cottages, each with one hand laid and full of charm. You won't find cookie cutter rooms or corporate lobbies here, just history you can sleep in. That neon sign out front, it lights up the night with the same glow travelers saw generations ago. A beacon calling folks off the road after a long day behind the wheel. You can almost picture it, a 50 Chevy pulling in, dad checking in at the office, mom settling the kids, and the promise of a clean room and a good night rest waiting outside. You can even see the gas pumps. And even the wagon wheel isn't just a stop, it's an experience, a place where the past and the present meet under the buzz of the neon, the crunch of the gravel under your feet. This is Route 66 hospitality, served up with history and heart. And right next door to the wagon wheel sits another kind of Route 66 experience, Missouri Hick Barbecue. You'll smell it before you see it. Slow cooked meats rolling smoke across the parking lot, drifting down the highway like a signal to hungry travelers. The place itself feels like a real slice of Americana, wooden beams, wide porch, and hand-painted mural that shows the heart of the motherland on the front porch. Inside, it's all about comfort, ribs, brisket, pulled pork, cooked low and slow, and served with that friendly Missouri smile. Whether you're passing through or staying the night, this is the kind of stop that feeds more than your stomach. It fills you up with flavor and a little bit of the road spirit, too. Today, we're at the Uranus Fudge Factory in Missouri. And out here on the Mother Road, you come across all kinds of places. Some feel like time forgotten them, others you'll never forget. And then there's Uranus. It's not your average Route 66 stop, and that's exactly the point. You can't miss the towering neon sign out front, shouting across the highway in bold, colorful letters, Uranus Fudge Factory and Sideshow Museum. You'll pull off the road thinking it's just a quick stop for gas or a snack, and then you see the rocket, and the dinosaur, and the fire truck. This place leans hard into roadside weird, and it works. Outside, it feels like a roadside carnival met a retro's rest stop. A giant fiberglass dinosaur stands guard out front near an old red fire truck with a faded paint and character to spare. A huge trailer-mounted rocket looks ready for launch, sitting in the shadows of the main sign. The parking lot is packed with fun, photo ops, strange statues, and a colorful tower of handmade directional signs pointing towards places both real and made up. Step into the general store, and it's a whole new world. Neon lights, vintage ads, wall-to-wall candy, fudge, and plenty of gifts and souvenirs. There's even a spot for a homemade fudge and taffy, hand-dipped and served with a wink. Now, I'll say this. They like their humor here. It's cheeky. That might be wrong word. But hey, it's offbeat, and they keep it fun for the whole family. You'll hear plenty of folks laughing, especially around the fudge counter. But behind all the jokes and flash, there's something real here. A throwback to when the roadside attractions were part of the fun. The unexpected detours that made road trips special. Whether you're picking up some ice cream, sampling a selfie with a rocket, or just stretching your legs under the Missouri sun, Uranus delivers an experience that's hard to explain and even harder to forget. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but out here on Route 66, it fits right in. Loud, proud, and just a little bit strange. So next time you're rolling out west through Missouri, you see that big neon sign lighting up the horizon, go ahead, pull off, because in Uranus, there's always something waiting around the corner to make you smile. Out here in the hills of Stanton, Missouri, there's a secret hidden beneath the surface. A place older than Route 66, older than the state itself. These are the Meramec Caverns, not just a tourist stop, but a journey underground, where time slows to a drip, and echoes carry stories from another world. They say Jesse James once used these caves as a hideout. The train robbers, the shootouts, the manhunts. And whether all that's true or just legend, that's for the cave walls to know. But step inside, it sure feels like something was left behind. But it isn't all just shadows and stories. Today it's one of the largest show caves in Missouri. You'll see towering mineral formations lit up in every color of the rainbow, cathedrals made from stone carved out over 1,000 years. They even hold light shows in the main chamber, patriotic music bouncing off the walls that have been standing since prehistoric times. For generations, signs painted on barns across the Midwest called out like sirens, visit Meramec Caverns, and folks did. They still do. It's a reminder that Route 66 wasn't just a highway, it was a trail of wonders above the ground and below. And with that, we come to the end of our road through Missouri. From forgotten junkyards to neon motels to mom and pop diners to caves carved by time, this stretch of the Mother Road still sings. You just have to slow down enough to hear it. This is Big Mike here. If you liked our video, please like and subscribe. And if you're in Seligman, drop by and say howdy. Exploring Amarillo, Cadillac Ranch, Big Texan Steak Ranch, and the Second Amendment Cowboy in Amarillo on historic Route 66. Now, first off, we're going to be memorizing by the Cadillac Ranch, an art installation that is a tribute to Americans' automobile culture, that is a canvas for artistic expression. Established in 1974 by a group of artists known as the Ant Farm, this site has become an ever-changing masterpiece. People from all over the world come here to leave their mark on these vintage Cadillacs, creating a living testament to the spirit of freedom and creativity. Cadillac Ranch truly embodies the idea of America's Main Street, where every mile tells a story. Cadillac Ranch is just outside of Amarillo, and it's a great stop. Have a little family fun, have a little adventure, go out there. You can actually buy the cans of spray paint on site if you want, or bring your own, and it's always changing. Like I said, this is the one place where painting and stuff like that is allowed. You know, we ask you don't do it on other places, but Cadillac Ranch, it's kind of what it is now on a lot of it. But you can look all over the place. I mean, you just see these cars. They were, like I said, established in 1974. And it's just been a attraction ever since. Just sign your name, do the family thing, whatever you want to do. Just kind of makes it fun. They let you look around here. You just kind of walk around some of these cars. I think some of these cars are almost a little more paint than they are anything else. Built in 1960, founder R.J. Lee wanted a sign to welcome travelers along Route 66 into the Lone Star State. And there you go. That's one huge Big Texan sign there. You gotta love that. And here at the Big Texan, they serve up hefty portions of mouth-watering steaks. And we can finish their famous 72-ounce steak in under an hour. It's on the house. This legendary restaurant is a must-visit for food enthusiasts, offering not only good food, but a taste of Texas hospitality and makes you feel right at home. Tons of fun stuff outside to look at. And Amarillo just has a fun blend of art, culture, and tradition that's Route 66 history. Now, we shot this video at night and kind of give you a little different look of the Big Texan Steak Ranch. Here's the front of the place. There's a lot of neat lights you got everywhere. It's a fun place. There's even a little shooting range inside, lots of stuff to do. It's a Wild West hoedown almost when you go inside. I mean, there's a little everything with Big Texan. We've got the big cow right there. That's our bull, I guess he is, on that. And look around, they even have a hotel here. And like I said, their iconic sign right there. Lights blur him out a little bit at night, but he's pretty cool. And their police car is pretty awesome too. Let's look around that. There's that big old steer there. And we'll just kind of walk around this car and check it out. You know, the classic cars just are part of the history of Route 66. That's one of the things I really love about it. And like I said, you can, the nighttime just gives it a little bit different feel than you'll get in the daytime. So that's kind of why I wanted to share this. But the Big Texan's definitely a must stop. And here we got the Second Amendment cowboy. He represents the Texas spirit of independence and self-reliance, which is deeply ingrained in the entire region. And you even see some really cool looking Cadillac cars. These ones aren't painted. They're pretty nice looking. But this is one of the 3 stops that you definitely want to make. There's also a cool gift shop next door that you can check out. Imagine embarking on a road trip, the open road stretching endlessly before you, the windows down and the landscape of the American West unfolding mile by mile. For many, these memories are etched in the fabric of their childhood, framed by the back seats of the family car cruising along the legendary Route 66. Today, a touchstone of that bygone era still stands, beckoning the traveler to relive the magic of those road trip adventures. The Wigwam Motel in Holbrook, Arizona, also known as Wigwam Village Number 6. As the tires of the car crunch on the gravel driveway, a sense of nostalgia hangs in the air. For those who once sat wide-eyed in the back seat, the sight of these teepee-shaped structures trigger a flood of memories. Many individuals, now grown and perhaps with families of their own, find themselves drawn back to the Wigwam Motel. It's not just a place to rest for the night, it's a pilgrimage to the past, a chance to reclaim a piece of the Western U.S. culture that lives on in their memories. Returning guests walk through the doorway of their concrete wigwams, the same excitement they felt as a children bubbling up once again. The simple yet comfortable accommodations echo with the laughter of years gone by, creating a bridge between the past and the present. Nostalgic is not merely confined to the physical space, but permeates the very essence of the experience, transporting visitors to the days when Route 66 was the ribbon connecting dreams across the vast American lifestyle. Yet it's not just those revisiting their youth who find delight in the Wigwam Village. Newcomers too are captivated by the unique setting. Children, eyes wide with wonder, eagerly anticipate the novelty of sleeping in a wigwam, their imagination sparked by the charming and unconventional architecture. Adults, perhaps navigating Route 66 for the first time, discover a slice of America that goes beyond the ordinary. In the parking lot, a classic car displays adds another layer to the time travel experience. Vintage automobiles from the eras when Route 66 was at its zenith stand proudly, evoking a sense of the past. These cars against a teepee backdrop is a visual feast, a reminder of the era when the journey itself was as important as the destination. The Wigwam Motel in Holbrook, Arizona is more than a place to lay one's head. It's a living testament to the enduring allure of the American road trip. Welcome to Seligman, Arizona. Now you're seeing the Delgadillo snow cap on the left. Nice ice cream since 1953. My store, Route 66 Road Relics. And here we come on Angel and Vilma's Route 66 gift shop, also the barber shop. And as you go around, this is historic Route 66, which was given that designation in 1987. It's returned to the 50s showing here. And then we're also coming up to the Rusty Bolt. This is our little park in town. Fun place to visit. The next place you're going to come across is Route 66 Motorporium. And you'll notice we get lots of buses that come through town on a regular basis, sometimes up to 20, 30 buses a day. We're basically the halfway point between Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon. So it just helps out quite a bit. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting is Seligman was originally called Prescott Junction, because it was basically where they went ahead and built roundhouses and stuff like that, and constructed the railway to go ahead and run to Prescott. In 1895, the town was renamed Seligman from Prescott Junction in honor of the Seligman brothers, who were the major stockholders of the railroad and stuff like that. And that was one of the main businesses in town. There's West Side Lilo's as we pass it. And you also see up here's a gas station, and they actually have an A&W root beer place inside, so it's kind of fun. One thing that's really neat about this town is Angel Delgadillo went ahead and led to it becoming the birthplace of historic Route 66, which basically means that they were able to go ahead and get historical designation. This is historic Route 66 General Store we're passing. That designation basically was the revitalization of Route 66, and it was the start of it here across the country. Now we're passing the Roadkill 66 Cafe. You kill it, we grill it. And there's historic Route 66 Motel. Got themed rooms, just a nice setup right there. But they also have like a fun run, and you can actually take a look, see if we have videos of that too. And the fun run basically started in 1988. It's been going on every year since then. There's a Seligman Fire Department. Do a good job there, guys. And that's kind of just a little history of our town. We're basically a tourist town nowadays, but there are some big ranches around. And there's a Supai Motel coming up. And after that, you'll also see the Postcard Motel. And then here's the Black Cat Bar. You go top in and get a drink. It's been around for quite a while. And there is a Seligman Grocery. You see the green sign back there. And also Canyon Lodge. All good places to stay. There's the Roadrunner. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little tour of Seligman, Arizona. And coming up next is going to be the Aztec Hotel and Creative Space. Another nice little place to stay with themed rooms. And come on and visit Seligman. Hey, this is Big Mike, and we're doing a Route 66 adventure today. Have you ever been in a real ghost town? Follow me as we explore Two Guns, Arizona. Went to trading posts, a zoo, gas station, and a history that's pretty wild. This is where the mountain lions that enter here. But it was originally built in the early 20s. It was built by Earl and Louise Cundiff, who were homesteaders, and they owned 320 acres of land in the area, built a trading post, restaurant, gas station, and even a post office. Now, this was the Old Trails Highway, actually, before it became Route 66 in 1926. So it had a lot of people that would stop back in the day. A lot of distance between things, and cars didn't go that fast, so there's a lot of different places to stop down. Now, one of the things you're kind of seeing, if you look around here, this is actually the zoo. One of the buildings right here. If you keep going a little bit, we'll even get a view of the bridge and even some of the cages. But the history even gets more interesting than that. There's a guy, eccentric Harry Miller, who had a big vision of building a zoo and all sorts of stuff here. He came along and he did this in 1925. And he built up a zoo and a trading post and all that kind of stuff. But the interesting history is that a year later he had leased this from the Cundiffs. Well, he got in an argument with Earl and shot him, basically in cold blood, it sounds like, from the stuff I understand. So not only does Ghost Town have like a real life murder, but kind of crazy on that. And what happened like that was a bunch of other misfortune. He got mauled by not one mountain lion, but twice he got mauled by mountain lions, and then he got bit by a Gila monster. After all that, he decided that it was time to leave town. And actually the widow at that point took over. His place did burn down, the trading post, but they had the other trading post. And that's kind of the history of this place. What you're looking at right now, those are the cages.
that had different animals. I'm not sure which ones they had, but you can check that out. And then we're taking a look over here, and you will see we're going to come across the bridge. I'm not going to cross it, we're going to look at the bridge. This was the main bridge. It was the Old National Trails originally, and then of course Route 66 in 1926. That's how a lot of that was built, is that 1926 they just took a lot of the older roads and stuff like that and turned them into Route 66 in the current day. But pretty cool around here. Now after Miller left, the widow kind of went ahead and took over and did pretty good for quite a while. One of the things kind of interesting is that the story goes that silent film actor William Surrey Hart, also known as Two Gun Bill, because he had twin Colt 1851 revolvers, that the town was named Two Guns because of him. Like I said, that's the rumor. It's hard to tell. You don't know. A lot of things changed. A lot of different names came up with different things. But like I said, as you see here, we're just kind of looking around, checking everything out. You can see a lot of the different places for the zoos. I'm really not sure where the trading post was, but it's just a neat look with a lot of stuff to check out here. Now, one thing that's very interesting is basically this place was in use till 1971. Now, I don't believe the zoo was, but the gas station and stuff, they had a fire in 1971, and that basically was the last straw, and Two Guns became a ghost town after that. But it was very successful for a long time. And what you're seeing right here is we're actually cruising on Route 66, just to give you kind of a little bit of view. This is the old Route 66 that we're on, and you'll see up ahead that was the old gas station that burned to the ground in 1971. So travel Route 66 and get your kicks. Hope you want to go ahead and take a vacation now, or bring back some memories of your past trips and just enjoy the ride. It's road trip time. Big Mike here. Welcome to Williams, Arizona. We're going to take a cruise down historic Route 66 and explore the town of Williams. Now, here's the Route 66 gift shop and museum. A lot of cool stuff to check out. They've got old gas pumps, cars, trucks. Definitely worth a stop. They even have a little gift shop inside. You can check it out. The Grand Canyon Railway. No trip is complete to Williams without actually taking a ride on the Grand Canyon Railway to the Grand Canyon. A lot of fun stuff there. They also do a steam engine once per month. And look at all these railroads. They're just awesome. Arizona is a really cool animal park. We have Frontier. Got some pretty good barbecue there. Some old cars. Cars on the Mother Road is another place to just stop, look around, buy antiques, all sorts of fun stuff. Dairy Queen, get your ice cream. Brewed Awakening, get your coffee. And got a little bit of everything here. Right now we're just cruising down historic Route 66. This is Cruisers Route 66 Cafe on the right. The nice thing about this town is it's actually a lot of stuff to do during the day and at night. There's lots of places to go grab something to eat, get something to drink. Just a lot of it's an entertaining town. Nice stopover if you're going to the Grand Canyon. It's a great place. It's only about an hour away from the Grand Canyon. And it's just they also have a car show once a year here, which is fantastic. I really love that car show they do. The historic Williams Route 66 car show. There's the Grand Canyon Hotel. The sign actually says $3.50 a room. I love that. There's the Canyon Club. You need to get a drink. Got you all set right there. And then here's one of my favorites. Xavier has Addicted to Route 66. That's a really neat little place. You go in there. And then also another one of the places, Pete's Gas Station Museum. Pete's a cool guy. You can go and say howdy to him. And of course, to wrap it, you got the Native American. Lots of fun stuff there too. This is Big Mike with Route 66 Road Relics, and today we are taking a Route 66 adventure going to Hackberry, Arizona and see the Hackberry General Store. So hang on and here we go. Now, one of the neat things about Hackberry is it was actually named after
the Hackberry mine, which was a silver mine that was established in 1875. Kind of cool. It actually took over $3 million worth of silver back in the day, so it was a serious mine. Now, some neat things about here. This is like stepping back in time, this place. It's like a living museum. I mean, you've got stuff from the 30s to the 50s, old cars, trucks, the neat old signs. This is really stepping back into like what Route 66 was during the day. There were several gas stations around here. This one was actually a Conoco and 76 station until 1978 when they finally got bypassed by I-40, and that pretty much closed it down. The mine basically closed in about 1919, and it was a couple years before 1926 when everything started picking back up, and that's when gas stations and some of the other stores and stuff like that. I think they had the Northside grocery store at some point, and the Conoco station and some of that kind of stuff have been around here. And it's just neat. You see all the Route 66 gas pumps, the old cars, the old trucks. They even had an old garage here. And some of the other things that's kind of fun. This is about 28 miles north of Kingman. Elevation's about 3,600 feet. Population of about 190 in the area. It is on historic Route 66. It's actually basically between Seligman, Arizona and Kingman, Arizona. One of the neat things, since it was named after the Hackberry mine, the Hackberry mine though was named after a hackberry tree that was growing in a local spring. So that's how that come along. The guy that actually established it was the Jim Music, and that's why there's some music called Music Mountain, some different things around. But he started to establish the silver mine. Check this old tow truck out here that we're looking at. You gotta love that. One of the things, one of the longtime people that owned the place is John Griggs. The Griggs family's been there for about 5 or 6 generations, from the 1920s to, I believe, 1970 or 1967 when he passed. And he had the 76 station, the Union 76 station. Now, a lot of the other stuff that's kind of fun around here, you know, in 1919, like I said, it was almost a ghost town until the Route 66 came by. It was also once owned by artist Bob Waldmeyer, and he's pretty well known out there, so it's kind of some fun stuff. I think he got that in 1992. There's been a couple different owners since. I know Amy's one of his owners now. And they've done a nice job of just kind of keeping everything going and really just keeping it kicking on Route 66. I mean, that's really, you know, we just want to share the history and the beauty and the American history of Route 66. Take a look back here. This is part of the old garage. You see on the old sign, you got Jackrabbit Crossing there, which is pretty funny. The sunflower sign you saw there, that would actually be out of Kansas. Sunflowers are what they use for all their highway signs. And you kind of see the old garage. There was a truck in here at one point. I don't see it right now, but it's still pretty cool looking. Now we're going inside the general store. This is the Hackberry General Store we're in. Just give me a little look around. It's pretty neat. They got a little everything. Now check out this. This is the dollar walls or more, and they go through and people sign it, date it, and just basically staple it to the wall. It's amazing. I mean, it's just kind of, there's an old stove with magnets on it. I got to come back to this. I mean, just look at all that money sitting on the wall. It's pretty cool, I think. It's a neat way of leaving your mark on Route 66. And they got a lot of fun stuff from license plates, all sorts of stuff. Now we're going back outside just real quick and just checking out a few more of the old cars and trucks. And oh, look at that bad boy there. You gotta love it. But that's what's so neat about the history. I hope you get to come out here and experience it. That's what I'm really trying to share with people. Is just to let you feel what it's like to go cruise on Route 66, or the memories. I know a lot of you out there have been on Route 66 before, and the memories of those vacations. That's important.
Now this is Tucumcari, New Mexico, and actually Tucumcari is a very active Route 66 town, but there are parts of it that have been stores closed, whatever, but they do a nice job. This is an old Esso station. Right here is one of my favorites right here. This is actually, they have an old Chevy truck, and it's in front of the Ranch House Cafe. Now the Ranch House Cafe has been closed for a while, but I think they do a nice job of just putting something out there. But definitely worth a photo stop when you're out here. It's kind of seeing America and seeing the old America is special. And a lot of times it may bring back memories for you. Do you remember driving, your parents are driving and you're in the back seat, and you know, Route 66 was how you went to California or back and forth. And here's the Apache Motel. It's currently closed. But I just kind of want to show what happened when I-40 bypassed. Basically, in the early 70s, they started doing a lot of construction with I-40, even earlier, and they started bypassing a lot of these small Route 66 towns. You have to remember that a lot of these towns would have 10, 15, 20 different gas stations. That's how busy they were. And basically, when they got bypassed, it was tough for them. Now here's a historic bridge, the Rio Perico Bridge, located about 19 miles outside of Albuquerque. It was built in 1933, and it is actually closed. You can walk on it. It is closed to traffic though. But I just wanted to kind of show you that, you know, this is part of some of the Route 66 that was abandoned too back in the day. Now this was active, I believe, until the mid-90s. It was used as a side road. I-40, I believe it passed it probably in the, well, 85 at the latest, but it probably earlier on it. You can see I-40, that's I-40 right over there that you're seeing with those cars and trucks on it. And right here we're looking at, this is probably, I don't know, 20 miles up the road in New Mexico. It's an old Whiting Brothers station. And you can see, we'll get a good look at the sign here. See the Whiting Brothers on that. It's pretty cool. The building's pretty rickety, but, and then there's some structures across the way. You see the backside of the highway signs, and this is the Whiting Brothers. Like I said, this was, you can tell this has been a while back from looking at the signs. They also had, I believe, a grocery and a motel at one part. I'm not sure where the motel was, but you can see right there where the groceries and motel. And this was kind of like just out in the middle of nowhere, really, this place. I didn't really see hardly anything else around it when I was looking around. Now, this is coming into Grants, New Mexico. And Grants is really cool. They've got a lot of old signs that were around, you know, when Route 66 was really active. And this is one of them right there. There's just a little outside of Grants, Blue Water Motel. A little misleading. I don't think there was any blue water around here. And there's some more of the signs. You can see this old Zia right there. Pretty neat. The signs they used were just awesome back in the day. Oh, the Route 66. Now here's one, Roaring 20s. I think that was a liquor store, or I'm not quite sure. Maybe been a dance hall back in the day. Now this is Boland's Trading Post. And it looked pretty much abandoned. Now these places are abandoned, but they are owned by people, so they're not something you can just go through. This is a private building now, but I'm looking at, it was a gas station. You can tell by looking right there. You can see the old gas pumps. And you can also kind of see like one of the old trading posts from back in the day. Thorpe, New Mexico, I guess is where we're at. It's just outside between Grants and